Hello and welcome to Half Cracked, and today we will be going over a camera switch script. So sit back, relax, and let's get coding. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to take my main camera and rename it to just cam. There we go. And next I'm going to need a container to put everything because I like to remain organized. So I'm going to right click in a hierarchy, create an empty, and we're just going to call it cameras. Then we're going to take our camera, drag it inside of our camera empty, duplicate it, and then we are going to position our new camera wherever we feel like it. And the next thing we want to do is we're going to want to set up our triggers because we will be triggering the hell out of everything. So back in our hierarchy, let's right click and create a cube. Bring it up our scene a bit and stretch it out. Make this just nice. Okay, and next we want to mark it as is triggered in the inspectors tab. This way we can walk through it. Next we're going to duplicate it, move it over, and everything should be good. However, I still want to keep things relatively organized, so I'm going to create yet another empty, and I'm going to call it triggers. Probably spelled wrong, doesn't matter. And then nest them inside of that. And to help keep things to where I can see things, I'm going to just add these colors. Now that we have our scene all set up, let us go over to the assets folder, right click, create a C# script, and let's call it camera swap or cam swap. Press enter and open it up in MonoDevelop or Visual Studios. Okay, now let's start by getting rid of the things that we don't need, which is all this useless garbage up top. And reformat this a bit and get rid of all this stuff because in this case we will not be needing it. Right, there are two variables that we'll be needing, and those are the two cams we'll be working with. Now you can multiply this as much as you want. However, you will only be controlling two cameras at a time. So here we go. We go public, camera, camera, there you go. And we'll call it cam1. And then duplicate. Yes, and then duplicate it. And call this one cam2. Right now, the only thing that we can do is set up variables, so let's make something happen. And we need to be detecting collision. So to do that, we will go with void on trigger, enter. And I'm going to rename this to call because it's shorter. Alright, and in our onTriggerEnter function, we are then going to create the conditions for something to happen. So if, say, call dot tag equals parentheses player, then something will happen. And that thing that we want to happen is we want to turn the cameras on and off. So the first one will be, which is camera 1, we want to turn that off, and then camera 2, we want to turn that on. So let's go cam dot enabled equals false to turn it off, then cam 2 dot enabled equals true. Simple. Let's go back over to our hierarchy and apply our script. Alrighty, so let's select the first one, and camera 1 will be cam. That's the first cam. So turn off that one and turn on the second one. And that's when we're going forward. When we're going back, we want to turn off cam 1, which in this particular section right here will be this one. And we want to turn on cam 1. And let's test that. And I seem to have, oh yes, and I forgot something very important. Again, I always forget this. We need him to be tagged player. Let's try that again. We are getting a little warning down here, but we'll get to that in a second. Switch. And not quite. Let's see what was wrong. Let's switch these two up. I always forget to order these things. Oops. Boom. Boom. And since I still have these a little backwards, I'm going to just switch them. And then we should get the effect we want. But overall, it is switching the cameras. Now you'll notice that we are indeed getting a little warning down there. There are 2 audio listeners. And we're going to want to turn those on and off at will. So cam 1, I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the audio listener and go back to our script. So we need references to this so we can turn them on and off as well as the camera. So cam 1, we will go public, audio listener, and let's say audio, audio, yes, give me that, 1. And then I like to keep things spaced off in the editor, so I'm just going to put in that little space thing right here. For cam 2, it's the same thing, so let's just copy that over and change it to audio 1, audio 2, not 1. Save that, and down here we do the exact same thing that we did before, only with our audio. So audio 1, we want to go .enabled equals false to turn it off. Down here, audio 2 .enabled equals true to turn that one on. So we go back in here and we will let it compile, and as you'll see there's a little space there to help keep things organized. We'll go audio listener cam, change that to that, boom, and now we'll have references to all of our camera listeners. And I think I just yes I did. There you go. Now we should not run into that little problem again. Very good. Yep, and let's confirm. I go into our camera. That one's off. Both the audio listener and the camera. Move backwards. Turn that on. And this one over here should be on. Go back. And it is off. Alright, and that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed your time with me. I know that I did. And I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.